Welcome back to Catholic Corner.
And our Thanksgiving feast. It's been so long. We have covered so much and are continuing our coverage on the best-selling book of all time.
The Bible!
Right on!
If you recall last time, we completed the Old Testament, and that review we just had was phenomenal. It all makes sense now. The world is waiting in silence.
Does it all make sense, Josh? Does it? Because while I follow what happened, there's a lot that I don't exactly understand.
Me too. But this is why we have some of our experts here to better explain this to us.
Phew! And this week, we didn't invite the survival cast. Instead, we invited some real top-notch scholars, some of whom even helped write the Bible.
Let us welcome our first guests, Isaiah, Micah, and Luke.
Yay!
Thank you.
Please, tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Good evening. I am the prophet Isaiah and the author of the book Isaiah in the Old Testament. I was around in 700 BC. God sent me to the king of Judah. Many of my predictions involved the coming of the Messiah.
Judah's in the north or the south?
South.
My name is Micah. I too am a prophet and was alive around the time of Isaiah. I also had predictions about the coming of the Messiah.
My name is Luke. I was around much later after Jesus. I was a doctor and was not Jewish. I became a Christian after hearing about Jesus.
Great to have you guys here. We have just completed the Old Testament and are now starting the New Testament.
The Old Testament makes no sense without Jesus. The life of Jesus also makes no sense without the Old Testament. You need both to have a complete view of what's going on.
Everything Jesus is and did was a fulfillment of the Old Testament. What Israel failed to do, Jesus does. And it was predicted through us prophets.
Beginning with the Annunciation, Isaiah predicted this in 742 BC. He told the king that a virgin would conceive and bear a son, and he shall be named Emmanuel, which means God is with us.
And Micah predicted that the Messiah would be born in Bethlehem. He said, "Bethlehem, too small to be among the clans of Judah, from you shall come forth one who is to be the ruler in Israel."
Eve said no to God when she ate the fruit. Mary, who is the new Eve, or that who makes right what Eve made wrong, said yes to God when she said yes to Mother Jesus. Through Eve's no, the entire human race fell. Through Mary's yes, the entire human race has the opportunity to be saved.
Mind blown.
Say that again?
Let's watch it unfold a little.
Oh come, Emmanuel, and ransom captive Israel, that mourns in lonely exile here.
Oh my gosh, that song makes so much more sense now.
Israel is captive by different nations. They are in exile and waiting on Emmanuel.
Oh my gosh, what's another verse?
Oh, come the Lord of might, who to thy tribes on Sinai's height, in ancient times did give the law, in cloud and majesty and awe.
Rejoice!
Rejoice, Emmanuel.
Oh my gosh, they're talking about when Moses received the 10 Commandments on Mount Sinai!
Who knew the song had actual meaning?
So Jesus is born!
Correct! Jesus is born and is born in Bethlehem because he was part of what tribe?
Judah!
the land of Judah. However, Jesus grew up in the northern region in the town of Nazareth.
Jesus was a Jew and therefore followed the Jewish tradition of worship. Therefore, each year they would go to the temple in where?
Jerusalem.
Yes, they would go to Jerusalem, to the temple where they would offer sacrifice and worship God.
One time, while Jesus was still a child, he got lost.
OMG! They lost Jesus?
Yes. See how it unfolds.
I'm stressed.
Oh, come thou rod of Jesse, stem from all their foes deliver them that trust thy mighty power to save and give them victory o'er the grave.
Jesse Stem?
Jesse was King David's dad.
Oh, so from Jesse will come Emmanuel or Jesus, and he will deliver us all.
Right on.
Anyways, oh my goodness, I can just feel the anxiety that Mary and Joseph felt. They must have been going through it. It's terrifying.
For real, losing God's son? Not cool. Not cool.
So, Jesus grew up living a normal life, learning the trades of a carpenter. He was a regular dude, except he didn't sin.
When he turned 30, he was baptized in the Jordan River by John the Baptist, his cousin. It was after his baptism that he went into the desert for 40 days. He fasted and prayed and then was tempted by the devil.
Now, at the beginning, we said that Jesus fulfilled or perfected what went wrong in the Old Testament. Here, for example, Jesus was baptized in the water and then goes into the desert for 40 days. The Israelites crossed through the Nile River and then entered the desert for 40 years.
The Israelites were tempted to idolize a false god, and they fell. They made a golden calf. Jesus was tempted by the devil to worship him, but as Jesus makes all things new, he resisted the temptation in the desert.
After Jesus finished his fasting and prayer in the desert, it was time for his ministry to begin. He called how many apostles to follow him?
12.
Why do you think he chose 12? Where is 12 a significant number?
The 12 tribes of Israel!
Exactly! Again, Jesus makes right what we make wrong. So the 12 tribes turned away from God over and over. They sinned, they worshipped a calf, etc., etc. So Jesus calls 12 new apostles to be the 12 new tribes of Israel. And while they aren't perfect, they are called to renew what was originally wrong.
So Jesus called the 12 apostles and then began his ministry.
Jesus was a great teacher and healer. He was a man of prayer. He loved people no matter their imperfections and showed them this great love.
Jesus came here for a few reasons. To redeem us from the punishment of original sin, to reveal how much God loves us.
To show us how to live, to empower us to be God's children, and to establish his church on earth.
Yes.
Back up. He's a healer? Like a doctor?
Not exactly. Let's take a gander.
Oh, come, Emmanuel, and ransom captive Israel, that mourns in lonely exile here, until the Son of God appears. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O
I just love that song.
Things are making so much more sense now.
So Jesus comes to renew or fulfill all that went wrong with the Old Testament, and he's doing it by resisting sin and temptation, showing people how to live correctly, calling 12 new tribes, and ultimately showing us how much God really loves us.
Wow. So why does that end in his death?
We will get to that next time, my friend.
Oh my, that's right. We're out of time.
Thank you for joining us this evening. Remember,
Live like Jesus, love like Jesus.
That's what we're created for. Until next time.
That was a patty.